That was a great day. Kicked it off down by the coast in Coffs Harbour and then just meandered our way up through the rainforest here to Dorrigo Plateau, finishing on Steve and Michelle's beautiful property, grass-fed shorthorn beef. And we've got some deliciously tender, beautifully marbled eye fillet ready to go onto the barbecue. But before we do that, we've got the sorrel, we've got some spinach, leeks, those beautiful baby fennel. It's all going to come together into a sort of like a fresh creamed spinach dish, which is really quite simple, and I think it's going to be super, super tasty. First things first, we've got a couple of leek here. Nice fine slicing, and this is just going to really melt away into our butter. Leek's great because it has quite a delicate oniony sort of flavour. Okay, leeks are good. Pan is at a great temperature. Couple of knobs, good quality Aussie butter in there, and then of course, but it's just going to go in there, and automatically the aroma starts happening. That butter gets a little bit of caramelization on it straight away. So we're just going to cook them down until they're nice and soft. We'll give it a good season of some salt just to kick things off. Let that do its thing, and while that's sort of just easing into it, I've got a couple of cloves of garlic which I'll use as well. Perfect. Just give it a little bash. That'll pop the shell off, or the skin I should say. Run the knife through. Just sort of a rough chop. Again, we're just going to really take it nice and slow with our garlic and our leek. So in goes the garlic. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, let that keep doing its thing. While I keep going, let's look at some of our other ingredients. We've got this fennel. I'm just going to pop the tops off. We can use those for garnishing later on, along with some of those great herbs we got. And all I'm going to do is just again run the knife sort of down through it, nice and fine. So again, nice sort of fennel discs are going to go in there. They'll sort of make some really nice cool shapes when they break apart. So good. So the fennel's going in. Going to be a real green sort of affair, this one. All right, another pinch of salt, and I'll do some pepper at the same time. Here comes the pepper. Always tricky in the wind. What I'm going to do now is just grab some of our cream and just pour that over this. Voila. Perfecto. And just give it a good stir. And while that's happening, I'll grab our spinach, cut those little sections of the spinach. And we will start with, obviously, our harder stems and stalks. That can go in first. Let that just tick away for a second. While that's happening, we'll cut the remainder of these leafy greens. Yeah, look at that. So good. Get the next batch in. Now this is going to look quite full, but I promise you we'll just cover it, throw a lid over it, and everything will just sort of melt into itself, and it'll basically almost disappear into nothing. So look at that. Oh, like a little mountain in the mountains here. Call this one Hayden's Hill. All right, sorrel time. Now we remember the sorrel has that really wonderful citrusy note to it. So again, this is going to add to that freshness. I'll just run the knife sort of through this. Oh my gosh, this is getting fuller and fuller. It's a bit of a joke now, Hayden. Look at that. So what we're going to do now, we'll just take it off the heat, cover it with a little bit of foil, let it just wilt down really nicely. I'm going to serve it up in this large bowl, and then it's all about freshness. We'll go fresh herbs, fresh sorrel, lemon zest, olive oil, parmesan. Oh, it's going to be packed full of flavour. I cannot wait. Steaks are looking absolutely amazing. We've brought them up to room temperature. Always important to get those steaks room temperature. Bring them out of the fridge before you throw the barbecue on. And now what I'm going to do is just a little drizzle of oil over the top of the steak. Just use your fingers, sort of pat it all over. Rub it in, especially something like this eye fillet. You really want to make sure that it's got a little bit of lubrication on there. A really generous seasoning of sea salt, and the barbecue is roaring hot. because these eye fillets are not going to take long at all, okay? So lid up, straight on the bars. Automatically you hear that sizzle, that sear. You can smell that cooking. It is so good. That caramelization, as soon as it hits those really hot bars. Look at that. Yum. And flip it onto hot bars. So take them off the current bars they're on and put them straight onto some new hot bars, okay? That way, you're not gonna lose that heat. So if you put them straight back on top of where they were cooking, obviously there's less heat there. You put them on fresh bars, you're still gonna get that really nice cooking. Another 2 minutes. We're almost there. Last turn, here we are, we're on. Oh, I'm excited. Look at that. That is exactly what you want your eye fillet to be looking like. Charred, delicious, just bouncing, you know? Sorrel, spinach, leeks. Now we're just gonna finish them off with some herbs. So I'm just gonna pull them out. See how it's just sort of wilted? They're not like mush. They haven't disappeared completely. That cream is just so packed with flavor, it's not even funny. Parmesan. Got my microplane. It's gonna go over the top first of all. Good timing while the wind's not blowing. Now it's time for some fresh herbs. Like I said, we've got parsley straight from the garden. We've got some delicious dill from the garden, and of course that fresh sorrel. So get in there. Just a bit of a rough chop. Like everything's pretty chunky and pretty textural here, so rough chop over the top. Those herbs are looking good. And then the sorrel is going to finish that off as well. Some freshness. Run the knife through. And just to finish off, a little bit of olive oil over the top, around the sides, and then lemon zest. A bit more of a zing, a little bit of freshness, even though it's nice and warming. And that is a monumental warm sorrel and spinach salad with some of the most delicious, tender, marbled, tasty tenderloins you can probably get in Australia.